Anoman Zika. Good evening, everyone. My name is Nasrin Akther, and you are here with Bangladeshi Broadsheet, a social media reporter and influencer for Bangladeshi affairs in Melbourne for the last 9 years. I invite you all to watch out my show, The Quest. As you know, the Victorian Local Government Council election is on, and this year, due to COVID-19, the election is very unique in many ways. You are also aware that from Bangladeshi expats, there is a huge number of candidates for the very first time participating in this election. I am privileged to have with me all the candidates from different city councils across Melbourne. Welcome everyone to my show in Bangladeshi Broadsheet. This program will have 3 segments. In the first segment of the show, I will introduce all candidates and then we will get their responses to some community questions we gathered earlier. And finally, we will have open-ended question for all. Let me start from Monash City Council. And I have here today Mr. Mazharul Chaudhry. Mr. Mazhar is the current president of Australia-Bangladesh Association and running councillor election from Mulgrave Ward. Mr. Mazhar, could you please tell us more about you and your election campaign?
Thank you, Mahmoud Hassan Rano and Nasrin Akther for inviting me at Bangladesh Broadsheet election talk show. I'm a candidate for Mulgrave Ward in the City of Monash Council elections 2020. I have been living in the city of Monash for over 30 years together with my family. I am an active, passionate member and supporter of our local neighborhood networks, support group and clubs. I am also volunteering at Premier Monash Legal Services Center since 2007. I have a strong connection with our Bangladeshi community. As a former president of the Bengali Language and Cultural School from 1998 to 2002, as a former president of the Bangladesh Community from 2004 to 2006, I was an architect and founder of the Western Region Bangla School, which I founded with the help of 24 local parents and their 36 students in 2006. In the same year, I also accredited that school with the Department of Education and Training. I have over 34 years experience in finance, legal, and community works as a banker, financial accountant, finance manager, legal practitioner, and social work. I also worked at a not-for-profit charitable organization for over 10 years. Among them are Children Australia, Parkinson's Victoria, the Australian Greens Victoria. I hold degrees in law and commerce from Deakin and Victoria University, and MBA from Deakin. Being a long-term resident of Monash, I understand the needs of our Mulgrave community. If I elected, my key priority as a councillor will be providing greater support for residents, small business who have been impacted during the COVID-19 pandemic. I will steer community well-being programs such as mental health, A-Square, retirement place with A-Square, promote local economy, business growth, while pursuing greater openness, good governance, and transparency. I will actively participate in Council's decision-making process. I will work towards developing an inclusive society for generations to come. Mulgrave Ward needs a strong voice with a new ideas and a new perspective. As an Australian qualified lawyer and accountant with a passion for working with our Mulgrave Monash community, I believe I am best fitted for the job.
Now I am introducing candidate from Cardinia Shire Ms. Soheli Sanjida. She is not new in the council election. In 2016, she lost only by 12 first preference vote. This year, Ms. Soheli is running the election from officer ward. Bangladeshi community has much expectation from Ms. Soheli. Please share with us your journey in the community work. Ms. Soheli, please.
Thank you, Shubhana and Rono, for giving me this opportunity to share my experiences with all of you. So as you had mentioned, I'll actually start from 2016 council election. That was a very quick decision. I took that decision 2 months prior to the actual election, but the result was overwhelming. And then I decided that this is actually what I love most to do, because that 2 months that I have run a very hard campaign. So that after losing, I was certain what I want to do. And that's why I left my full-time job to get involved with the community as full-time basis, because I know if you really want to get something for your own inner peace, then you have to do your best. Since then, I have been involved in various community development work. I have been working with a lot of organizations. I have built a very good relationship with a lot of organizations such as Casey Cardinia Libraries. They are one of my partnering organizations. So if I come up with any ideas, I just need to write them an email and they will accept my ideas and will be welcome to work with me. One of the big outcome was in our Shire, lots of Muslims are living over last 4-5 years, but we don't have any mosque or anything close by. So I actually decided to have Eid prayers and regular prayers, and the library offered me place. We couldn't have done it this year due to COVID, but we did started regular prayer. We started Sunday Quran, we started twice a month women's session where we were inviting a speaker to come. So this is one of the activities couldn't have been possible if I didn't get the support from Casey Carter Library. So that is what most of the highlighted point that I have achieved over the 4 years and my hard work, building up good relationship.
Splendid, Ms. Soheli. Thanks for your words. At this stage, I am introducing you Mr. Rez Chaudhry. Mr. Rez has more than 20 years of experience in various management jobs in Australia and overseas. He had a restaurant for 21 years in Sandringham. He is campaigning in the city of Kingston for Wattleward. Mr. Rez, could you please elaborate more about you and your election campaign?
Assalamu alaikum. I give you thanks to Rono, give me opportunity to attend meeting. I give my background little bit. In 1971, President Yahya Khan postponed the National Assembly and I was sitting in Jinnah College Student Union room. When he postponed, we changed the name of the Jinnah College to Titumir College. And from there, my student politics started. I was fully involved in Bangladeshi independence movement, Krishibid Pay Commission movement. Many times I meet many of Labour Party member here, including John Howard and Jeff Kennett. My participation in council election to provide inspiration to our new generation so that they can play a leadership role in future in Australian politics. Build a new platform in which local will give Australia a new path and real democracy when people enjoy indiscrimination, human right and clean environment. I am always there for and help them and advise. I'm also mentioned that old people do not stop contribution community. That's why I participate to prove it that old people can work. My vision is to diverse, dynamic community, youth and elder share, as well as make a sustainable, safe, attractive environment. I want to utilize what I have learned from my experience to help and teach the younger generation to hear to the seniors. In Kingston election, I'm promoting to reduction of waiting list in dental care, reduction of council rate, develop more safe and healthy facility to aged care, home care, job for younger people, and assist small business and promote awareness in education in covered. I'm also helping food awareness in community, and I also helping close near is Noble Park, Springvale, Dandenong, all Rohingya refugees. So thank you.
Wow, thanks, Mr. Raj. Now I have Mr. Ghulam Haq, who is an active politician. Mr. Ghulam Haq is an entrepreneur by heart and very well-connected social worker. He is running election for Cambridge Ward in the city of Melton. I request now, Mr. Ghulam, please tell us about yourself. Mr. Ghulam.
Hi everyone. Thank you, Rano Bhai and Bhabi for inviting me in this wonderful quest, which is really nice to see. My name is Ghulam Haq, and I came to Australia in 2003 as a student, and I finished my bachelor degree from RMIT. I did my bachelor in mechanical engineering, and then I started my own business. I moved to Caroline Springs in 2008 with my parents and my brother, and then now I'm living in Caroline Springs and very nice place to live with. I was running for as a candidate in 2016 for Melton Council election, and that time I wasn't that much prepared. And to be honest, I was involved with the politics since 2012 in local politics with Liberal Party, and I'm an active member. I ran as a state candidate for Corowet in 2018. And for this reason, I have involved with the politics, local community, with the different local groups, ethnic groups, you can say sports clubs. And also we have some other groups which leads with we have TIP here. So there is an active group who are against this TIP. So I was very active member of this. And also we have different groups work with the Victorian police and other community groups to bring safety and security in the community. So to be make it a summary, as I'm involved in politics since 2012, and I had a little bit break, and then 2016 I stood up, and now again standing for the community. When I say community, it not just means like Bangladeshi community, it means like the broader community where I live and surroundings. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Ghulam. Mr. Sajadul Shohag is a small business owner and works back end for the community for a long time. Mr. Sajadul, please shed us some light about your campaign for Wyndham City's Iramo Ward.
Thank you for having me on this show. Firstly, I'm a father to my son, a devoted husband to my loving wife, and a good friend to many. At the same time, I'm running a small business for my living, and I believe I'm doing very well. I came to Melbourne 2005 and living Turnit from 2010. I have seen how Wyndham City has grown. I would like you to know that I'm not a politician, neither I had any dream to be one. Because of the nature of my business, I have met many people of our community every day, and I know what they think and what change they want. Likewise, I want to bring the positive change for my community. My commitment to the Wyndham community is listen to them and their ideas, and I will take them to the council. Oh, it is a hard job, but I want to try my best to work out. Some of my promises to the community, such as I will try to give my best support for children, youth, senior citizens, business owners, and all others. Besides that, I love to support for sports, cultural event, and I will try to create local jobs and local businesses. Also, I would like to introduce an electric bike for all program for Wyndham City, which can solve public transport issues and solve touristic communication. I would like to say only one thing, which is if you would like to see a councillor who is more connected to you, then please vote for me. Vote wisely, vote Sajadul Shohag.
Thanks, Mr. Sajadul. I have now Mr. Hassan Naim. He is the CEO at Pharma Expert Australia. He is an active politician as well. Mr. Hassan, could you please tell us about you and your campaign for Harrison Ward in Wyndham City?
Thanks, Nasrin, for having me on your show. Good evening, everyone. My name is Hassan Naim. I'm living in Australia for 21 years, including 6 years in Harrison Ward. I'm happily married, have 2 children, and they attend local schools. I'm running my own business. If you want to know more about my company, then please visit our website www.pharmaexpert.com.au. Before this business, almost 20 years, I worked in a leadership role for global and national pharmaceuticals and clinical research organization. Apart from that, I'm heavily engaged from last 21 years in Melbourne with various community groups to promote multiculturalism and celebrate the diversity. I'm a founder of few non-profitable organizations, including Renaissance Drama Society, Bus Motion Pictures, and Melbourne Multicultural Film Society. Also, I'm an active member of Sports Club and Building Blocks. This Building Blocks program organized by Wyndham City Council, which was the program to connect and develop the community leaders. I'm a visionary community activist, and my vision is to make our Wyndham a place for better living. To achieve my vision, I have done a survey, and based on that survey and my own observation, I have identified my election manifesto, which is my mission. And my mission is to support and advocate with the local, state, federal government to develop safer and sustainable infrastructure, ensure the safety and security for every citizen, provide the support for better health and well-being, develop a science and innovation hub, develop a multicultural hub to celebrate the multiculturalism and diversity, multi-purpose indoor stadium for sports and recreation, support local business and create more job opportunities, support for COVID-19 recovery plan to overcome this COVID-affected situation. If you see, my mission is related to my experience and the real needs of greater community. I haven't committed anything that I cannot execute. So I hope I'll get your vote. So please vote on for me. I'll ensure your better living. Thank you.
Well said, Mr. Hassan. I'm now talking about Mr. Zahid Mazumdar. He is the current secretary of Victoria Bangladeshi Community Foundation and well-known people person. He is contesting for Harrison Ward in Wyndham City. Mr. Zahid, could you please talk about your participation in council election? Mr. Zahid.
Thank you, Subarna, for giving me an opportunity to having in the. At first, I want to express my deepest gratitude of this organizer, honorable host, the participants and everybody. Assalamu alaikum, namaskar, good evening. I want to share my little background. I came in Australia 2006 and permanently living in Melbourne from 2008. Completed my postgraduate in chemistry from Bangladesh and currently working a multinational company in SGS Australia as an auditor or export-import quality inspector. No, I have been living Melbourne since I came and in Western suburb, predominantly Truganina and Turney. Since then, I have engaged with community work, and last 2 years, I have been an elected council member, executive council member of Victorian Bangladeshi Community Foundation. Currently holding the position of General Secretary of Victorian Bangladeshi Community Foundation. Working with community is my big passion. It is very great privilege and honor to be connected with the community and wider community. I got inspired by the people. Their faith and love inspired me to enhance my opportunity to work for the wider community. You know, during this election campaign, I firmly committed few things to do the betterment of the wider community. Amongst those in our manifesto included like a post-pandemic support, elderly and well-being, tourism hub, and for business growth of business, more multiculturalism, enhance the multiculturalism, and working for the better community. I think as a community work, I can use my extensive knowledge and skill to upgrade my ability to work for the better interest of the wider community. So I believe from my experience and from your if I get support, I can contribute through my experience, and my knowledge, and my main ambition to work for Windham community to make it more livable and healthy for all. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mr. Zahid. I have now Ms. Nusrat Islam Borshad. She works for a State Department over a decade in senior management role as a civil engineer. She's a proven social worker among Bangladeshis. She's running election from Chefi ward in Windham City. Ms. Nusrat, could you please share us about you and your election campaign?
I acknowledge the traditional Aboriginal owners of country throughout Victoria and pay my respect to elders past and present and to the ongoing living culture of Aboriginal people. Thank you, Nasrin, and thank you, Broadsheet, and all the candidates. I do congratulate all of you. I would like to convey my warm thanks to Windham residents and all the viewers and helping each other to overcome this COVID-19 pandemic. I have been working in Vicros for the last 10 years. I have experience and dedication when it comes to serving the community, policy making, strategic planning, or advocacy in all government levels. In my election campaign, my mission is to see a prosperous and connected Windham, a council for people that care for education, health and well-being, that cares for its environment, valuing diversity, appreciate everyone's strength, show respect to residents' opinion, and be considered. In my election campaign, I have highlighted mainly 5 aspects. First of all is like demand for basic needs. I will stand for quality and accessibility of more than 160 existing council services for all residents, especially people in need, young and single families, men, women, seniors, youth, people with disabilities, and pets. I will support women to earn, learn, and live their lives healthy, free of violence and discrimination, and as well as empowering women. And we need to be proactive rather than reactive. My second aspect is effective community engagement through different activities and make the information easy to interpret so that more people get engaged. And the next will be economic development by fostering innovation. I will stand for innovation approach to upskill and educate residents, to promote local and home businesses, social enterprising, culture and art projects. We can do shop from upgrade. We can educate our business people about digital marketing so that they can take their business globally. And the most important is that now I will not compromise with sustainable infrastructure and our future. I will stand for sustainable infrastructure, which means not only better roads, but also footpaths, bicycle tracks, public transport, more frequent bus services, and railway station with multi-level car parking. I will also support or introduce renewable energy projects, smart city, introduce a wireless network that can allow us to track council assets in real time. And we need to work on reduction in waste to landfill, waste management. We can introduce 3 Rs like reduce, recycle, and reuse. We need more trees and action plan for climate change. And I will also advocate for the Department of Education to improve STEM like science, technology, engineering, and math programs in Windham to prepare young people for the jobs of the future. So, and at last, basically need to work for the community. So my action will be first listen to the people and represent them. Thank you.
Wow, Ms. Nusrat, thanks for your input. Here with me is now Mr. Mohammed Mofizul Islam. He's a civil engineer and has huge experience in project management. He's one of the founders of Western Region Bangla School. He is running election from Windham City's Harrison ward as well. Mr. Mofiz, could you please share some few words about your campaign with us? Mr. Mofiz.
Thank you very much. I'm Mofizul Islam. I live in Australia nearly 25 years. I study in RMIT. Then from there, my journey is starting with the student leaderships. From there, and I was helping students for international students for their needs, part of Labour Party from 94. And then I am here in the council election for Harrison Ward. So there is something I found here. I was last almost 18 years in Truganina. I found there is a problem solving things that need to be done. So I had complete leadership course. So I did study in Victorian University Masters of Project Management, and then I found leadership quality is there. So I first need to complete my own community, that is Bangladeshi. So I working with them, finding the Bangla school to negotiation to keep our language, language and our culture. Then I went to this mix with the multicultural community like African community, Arabian community, build up the commerce, making the fundraising. Then I was a sportsman, so I complete myself to the Truganina Harnet soccer, and there was first I involved with them as a member. Then I became a team manager, and I successfully did 3 years, and my team was very good achievement. And from there, I was meet lots of people, lots of authorities to develop my skill as a leadership, communications, and decision making. I was spoke to the community. Whatever I was gone there, like Italian, Greek, Turkish, Lebanese, but there is some issue. Issue is their child care, issue was age care, issue was the footpath, issue was the grass on the footpath. So these are the lots of issues I found and I saw in my eyes, and also I was helping them out and take them to what they need. I take them to the Red Cross. I take them to the Centrelink. I took them to the multicultural provisions. I take them to the English course. So I try to settle them in this Australia, and they are now I was involved with my other commitment with the Youth Festival, and I was a lot of things I did myself. But what I'm going to do with the community now, I want to build up the community strong. I want to give them the opportunities to be taught. I try to make them come together, build up on them with leading, with communicating opinions. So that's why I'm listening their opinions, and I will try to convey this one as implementations. Like car parks, I saw this lots of problem with the car parks, railway stations, like the shopping centers, wherever you go, the council has put the fine. The authority has put the fine because of the parking not enough, and they cannot be stable there. So that need to be improvement, that need to be increased. And then the aged care. See, the COVID-19, we have a lot of problem with this aged care. So we need to be fixed up this problem, and after the solution, how we can do. So we need more aged care center. We need more people to take care. We need more skill to develop. So these are the things need to be, council has to be there. So my proposal will be there. And then my things is coming this infrastructure. So infrastructure, you see the road developing, road duplicating, traffic lights, traffic signals, and then the traffic jam. If you go anywhere in the morning, Sayas Road, Lakes Road, Point Cook Roads, Boardwalk, everywhere is traffic jam. So this need to be development. I will be work with this. And this community leisure center. You see this women. I will work for the women. With the separate community center, even this country, they can go free mixing, but still the women has separate things. They can provide this on this leisure center should. So that is my proposal will be. So I don't know how I'm gonna, but in the table talk I can do it because I am good approacher and I can do it. So I have this quality. So I have confidence, I can manage it. So that is today I got something to explain. Maybe I take more times. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Mofez. I present now Mr. Patwari Tauhid Millat. He is a small business owner. He is also active in politics and social events. Now I request Mr. Patwari, could you please tell us about you and your work for Harrison Ward of Wyndham City? Mr. Tauhid, please.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tauhid Millat Patwari. I'm married with one son. I have lived in the Western suburb for 20 years, of which 10 years I have been resident of Point Cook. I have the business experience. I'm passionate, and most importantly, I have time to contribute for the betterment of the Wyndham City. For last 20 years, I have engaged with various community works. Currently, I'm working with ABA, Australia Bangladesh Association Victoria, as a joint secretary. I'm also founder president of Creative Entertainment Australia, another non-profit organization. We working for the international student. My community engagement includes, but not limited to, sponsoring following programs: funding to Box Hill Institute, community awareness program undertaken by Geelong Country Fire Authority and Geelong Police, events run by Australia Bangladesh Association of Victoria and Victoria Bangladeshi Community Foundation, and also funding to the local sports club. I have 5 agenda what I stand for. Number 1, local job and business support. If elected, with your support, I would steer post-COVID economic recovery and business growth as a matter of priority. I would actively work towards promoting local business and sole traders, as well as bringing more business to generate employment. Also, I would deliver a wide range of workshop and seminar to assist small and medium business to grow. We all know individual business faces unique challenges, such as cafes, restaurants need more outside dine area if pandemic continues. So that kind of challenge, I got lots of ideas to implement those economic recovery and support business. To connection communities, I will take initiative to break communication barrier of the ethnically diverse community in Harrison, so we can speak in one voice. As a result, we have well-connected communities. Number 3, community safety and civic responsibilities. I will implement community education program to increase awareness of the rights and responsibility of family. Number 4, engage to support young people in transition from education to employment. And number 5, support local sports club and community organization. Among other priorities, I will ensure good town planning outcomes, safer neighborhoods, better roads, and improved by standard community services delivered here. If elected, I will serve the interest of the community without any allegiance. I believe it is time for a change and balanced representation. Choose the change, and I pledge I will be the trigger of change that you wish to see in Wyndham. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Tauhid, for your input. I have now Mr. Yusuf Ali. He is the current president of Victorian Bangladeshi Community Foundation. He is very known for his friendly nature and engagement with the social activities. Now, Mr. Yusuf, could you please brief us about your campaign for Chefi Ward in Wyndham City?
Welcome, everyone, and our respected all candidates and our respected Wyndham City Council citizen, especially the Chefi Ward. And thanks to Nasrin to invite us for this great program. So I'm Yusuf Ali. I'm happily married and with 3 kids. I'm starting the community service since almost my whole life. When I just finished my school education, once I start the college, and start basically the student politics, and I become a elected president of college council, where is the almost 20,000 students. And then I started student in broader. I become a president of 2-time president of the city committee. Then I became a general secretary of the Jatiya Chhatrama Central Committee and become the president. Then I came here 2003. Once I came here, then I changed my lifestyle. I changed my community politics. I changed my mission. I started the community work. Then when 2006, the WRBS Western Region Bangla School started. I am the one of the behind the scene, the member of this Bangla school, because that time my kids is not born. Anyway, whatever. Then I start this community work. Then I become a social welfare secretary 2 times. Then I become a general secretary of Victorian Bangladeshi Community Foundation, and then when I'm current president of Victorian Bangladeshi Community Foundation. So in my life, always I try to serve the community different way. So in here, I try to help the lot of international students when they come first time. So I try to give them the accommodation, food, work. I try to my own way. And personally, I am a businessman. And my business opportunity, I try to serve the lot of Bangladeshi and subcontinent community people. And as well as I was used to be a sportsman. I used to play cricket and I used to play boxing, and I played a lot of national championship and as well as international tournament. I'm lucky I was the part of the Bangladeshi national player. So anyway, then I thought now time to move the border community. I think that when we start the Bangladeshi community, then slowly we achieve and we meet a lot of other community people. Now I think I have to go the wider community, then I can serve the community. So that's the reason I start my candidature. I declare my candidateship in Sheffield Ward as a councillor. And if I win, then I have almost 11 dream. What if I can achieve? Hopefully, I can achieve if I elected. My first is improve the senior citizenship. I can improve their good lifestyle and the more peace in their in the senior life. Well-being, I want to make the kids kindergarten and everything, and the youth health as well as. So, and my main vision is the culture. I think our slogan is if we save the mother language, we can save the culture. Then if I and making community stronger by keeping council rates affordable, I am decided and committed to working with your needs. I am seeking your support and both want to make a better and healthier community. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mr. Yusuf. Viewers, we have got intro of all the candidates by now. I am moving to the second segment of the show, which is question and answer. My first question is to Mr. Sajidul Shohag. What was that one moment, one thing happened that made you say, that's it, I'm going to run for council? My question is, why are you running this election? Mr. Sajid, please.
Thank you for your nice question. Many times I heard from many people saying that I don't like politics or politician. I used to agree with them too. But day by day, I started to realize that only saying such a word will not change the view of politics or politician. I believe the best way to change or improve the system is to be part of the system. Getting involved, that's why I'm running this election. Thank you.
Now we have got question from Mr. Ehtesham Piklu. His question is, what will you bring for the community if you don't win the election? And how a candidate going to achieve what he or she is promising? Mr. Ghulam, can I request you to please answer this question? Mr. Ghulam.
Thank you very much. This question has two parts. So I was a candidate for state election in 2018, and I was running in the place where Labour side, but I was a Liberal candidate. So that time, what I brought to the community, that's what I can see now. We have 12 candidates running who wants to represent us into the community. So also, I will be seeing if I lose, I will be still continue working with the leaders in our community and also in my local community with my leaders. I'll be working with them to bring better and also represent my community to the council to bring what the good for them and what would be achievable for the community. And if I get elected, I have some key priorities for my community, because every one of us going through this pandemic, which has a huge impact on our social and economic life. So this will be my first priority, to bring our community through mental health and other social support, so we can start our social, our businesses can get back there and start promoting more jobs for the local people. Another key priorities in my list, which is stop the toxic soil. We all know about the toxic soil, which is coming from the Westgate Freeway tunnels. So, and for the last 20 years or so, West became the dumping zone for all the rubbish and everything. We have all the tips here in the West. Most of tips in Ravenhall tips, you can even eventually you can work there. So I'll be against that tips. So this is my focus, to stop the toxic soil, which is the safety and the security of the community. We are fighting for our 24/7 police station since 2016. So I'll be focusing on this if I get elected, because our community is growing so fast in here. We need 24/7 police station. And also, West, the fastest growing community in whole Melbourne. And to cope with the development of the better roads, and also need to have better transportations to move people around. When I say infrastructures, it means shopping centers, school, kindergartens, that sort of things. So when the developers, they developed a place or, developing a land, we have to make sure there we have proper number of park, community facilities, services, libraries, sort of things. So also I want to make our council is countable and open to the people who pays the rates. They should know why this motion came in the council and why it got approved and why it didn't get approved. I'll be focusing on to bring a better community and a better council to develop the community. Thank you very much.
Well, thanks, Mr. Ghulam. My next question is to Ms. Soheli Sanjida. May I ask you, how are you going to represent the community's desire, even if they are in contrast to your personal judgment of the matter? Ms. Soheli, please.
I think this question sounds like a bit complicated, but to me, it's very easy to answer because, if I get elected or anybody gets elected as councillor, before they start their job, they have to take an oath. So which is, we have to abide the code of conduct of councillors. And that actually clears every confusion that if we get elected, we become a public servant. And public servant means you leave your thought, everything that you have in you at home. So once you go outside home, not necessarily when you are working and dealing with council issues, even outside, if you hosting an event, if you attending an event, you should not be saying anything that reflects your own decision. So it's easy because, we are representing community. So whatever the community wants, we have to abide by that. I cannot say what I want because then I'm not representing them. So that's easy. And the other thing I can also tell you, which is the policy tells us if conflict in that sort of situation, I actually have to tell my mayor or the CEO that maybe, for example, there is an interest community and we are working, but I know somebody, or maybe one of my relative or one of my family member is involved in that one. So I do have a connection. Then actually I have to withdraw myself. So I'm not biased. I am not giving any biased decision. So I have to withdraw myself from those meetings where a decision will be made. I hope that I could make it clear that there is no opportunity for me to not work for the community's interest. Instead, that I will be reinforcing my interest. As I said, I have to leave that my home.
Thanks, Ms. Soheli. Moving on to Mr. Zahid Mazumdar. It is heard from social workers working in the community that expect Bangladeshis in Australia should be represented in mainstream politics and policy making. Mr. Zahid, if you are elected in this local government election, how do you ensure this most talked about statement? What will happen to Bangladeshis through your victory? Mr. Zahid, please.
Thank you, Subarna, asking me a question. Actually, I want to remind everybody that Australia is the one of the most highly skilled migrated country. And I believe as a Bangladeshi, we are one of the top listed. But we are contributing in Australia in different aspects, like university as a teacher, accountant, local developer, businessman, in the tax office, in every sector almost. But we need to step up in local politics, and we have a lot of potential. We have a lot of quality people there. Yeah, I think this is the time. Though we are little bit behind, the process has been started. I do encourage the local politics. Even we can see the clear picture. The days is not so far. Maybe someone will be step up, even in federal, to lead our nation. It is a great privilege to represent the community in the mainstream leadership. I appreciate that one, and I encourage especially. I congratulate all of the candidates who made their dream to participate in this council election. It's laid the foundation of the process so future generation encouraged to go further. The second question about the Bangladesh, can you tell me again the?
Sure. My second question was, what will happen to Bangladeshis through your victory?
Victory. As a Bangladeshi background Australian, I know the problem faced our community, which I can be addressed easily in the decision forum. I also want to blend the Bangladeshi community ethics and culture in mainstream community. No doubt, being a same Bangladeshi people will be able to express their opinion easily to me. Through you, I want to assure all Bangladeshi background people address the problem in decision making forum. However, I will work for the wider community. As a council member, we are representing the whole community. So that is my vision. I will work the wider community, and where within Bangladeshi community also will be benefited. No doubt about this. And that is, I believe everybody will be equally treated. And my ambition to will make better Windham. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Zahid. Since we know this year, because of COVID-19, the election campaign is mainly via social media. The concern is strongly voiced that many of the candidates have no idea what the council is. It is quite outdated that rates, rubbish, and roads should be the focus of the council. Now, my question to Mr. Patwari Tauhid, how do you reflect and check that your training for understanding the duties of the councillor is adequate?
I have grasped my learning, and I'm confident that if elected, I will be able to discharge my responsibilities as a councillor efficiently and with due diligence. I have attended the orientation training course. I have attended the orientation organized by Victorian Local Government Authority, which clearly outlined the roles, responsibilities, scopes, and limitation of the job of a councillor.
Thanks, Mr. Tauhid, for your words. I would like to move on to Mr. Raj Chaudhary now. The question to Mr. Raj Chaudhary, what have you done for the community for the last 4 years without any financial benefit to you?
When I work, I never thought about that I'm getting financial benefit or not. So when I'm working for living, I get some money, but when work is in front of me, I always do. So I did, as I have a in disability, and also I have a certificate for in aged care, home care. So I work 210 hours job in aged care, in high care, low care, in 3 different areas of my community, that is Cheltenham, Mentone, and Sandringham. I also did 160 hours disability work in Dandenong. I have a diploma in counseling. I do counseling in mental and also family violence mediation. I also take all the sick people, especially I work in community in Springvale, Noble Park, and Dandenong. And when they need, I call ambulance. I call. I go to the hospital. I take X-ray and also blood test. I'm also teach them English. I also giving volunteer work in MES for 3 years, and I also helping them for their religious gathering, especially for therapy and in the Ramadan and Eid prayer. I organize all the hall center. I also open 11 masala in Springvale for Burmese and Rohingya community, all free of charge. And I also do a lot of other work like when they need for central link form or fill up, I do that. And also I helping them for for their like a husband and wife when they have a problem. I also organize for them. I also organize to open a shop for their new business. So I try everywhere, which is no money involved. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Due to time limitation, we have to move on to the next question. It is to Mr. Hassan. Mr. Hassan, we would like to know from you, how can you, as a counselor, engage with the community and lobbying groups as concern rises?
Yeah, thank you, Nasrin. It's a nice question. If you see, the council has the established process to do the community consultation to understand the concern before making any decision. So we all are aware that how council body makes the decision. They make the decision either through ordinary meeting or a special meeting, and may vote on every motion unless they have a conflict of interest. I'll give you an example. Suppose toxic dumping in Windhamville. Personally, I'm against all this toxic dumping in our council area, and also community is totally against it. So my personal judgment is in lining with community desire. I'll support community's desire as I'm their representative. Now, if I see the situation is opposite, like community desire is not in lining with my desire, then what I'll do? Then the council body, if they are not favoring the community desire, then definitely I'll find out the reason or concern of the community and ensure their concern will be considered to reevaluate the decision. In that case, my suggestion will be to form a special committee with the expert of that particular matter to ensure community concern will be taken in account and do the risk assessment to ensure there will be no issue for the health and safety. I'll give you another example. For example, more procurement in our councils. This is the decision from the state government. It's not under the decision of the council. But if you see already in our council, already 893 procurement in Windham City Council. And I believe we don't need any more proclamation because of health and well-being issue. And health and well-being is one of my agenda for this campaign. So I could support this one because then I'm going against my agenda. So that's why I'm saying, like, whatever I want to desire or whatever is my personal judgment, if it is not in lining with the community judgment, then definitely we need to say, like, what is the reason? And we need to identify the reason, and we need to ensure that reason will be eliminated through the backup plan, like through the risk analysis and put the mitigation of the risk analysis to ensure like whatever the concern community is raising, that will not happen. So that's the way actually I'll go for that. Still, if it is not in my favor, after all, everything, all of the above, definitely I'll be through the community judgment because I am their representative. So I'll follow their pulse and I'll be their representative for any issue need to be bring on the council table. So I hope I make myself clear.
Well, Mr. Hassan, thank you for that. Because of time limitation, we have to move on to the next part of the show. Now, viewers, as you know,
Thank
that
you.
Bangladeshi Broadsheet requests for questions from its fans. And we have few questions that is being asked by the respected community members. I am reading now a question from Dr. Ahmed Sharif Shuvo. His question is, besides your work with the Bangladeshi community, what has been your community and social activity with the mainstream Australian population to make them feel that you are able to represent, to shed light of your contribution to the wider community? The same question was from Mr. Pinaki Ghosh. I would like Ms. Nusrat to respond this question. Ms. Nusrat, please.
Basically, because of what we really need to do works for the wider community, not only for our community, for our wider community. So as part of my job, I conducted many education programs for road safety, especially for women. And I am also volunteer at Tarnet Neighborhood Watch. Currently, I am serving the wider community General Advisory Committee member in Victorian Multicultural Commission. I also operate a women forum to support and empower women through mentoring, especially during family financial crisis. I am also active participant of No Toxic Soil campaign, and through the community organization I am involved with, I have organized projects and events with the multicultural community to bring the Wyndham community together. And during COVID-19, I have raised funds and helped vulnerable people in this pandemic and involved in distributing foods, face masks, and preparing approximately 800 face masks for school students in Wyndham, local school. And during this pandemic, I have worked with Department of Human and Health Services as a volunteer. I have founded a non-profit organization, International Council for Engineers, Australia, to give a platform so that engineers can work for the community. And recently also, I have worked as a chief editor of an engineering technical, which is dedicated for COVID-19 pandemic. So yes, so I have lots of experience working for the community and with the community with the wider community, obviously. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Nusrat. We have now a question from Mr. Jalal Ahmed Kumo. I request Mr. Yusuf Ali, can you please share why should the voters give you number one? What makes you unique as compared to other candidates? Give us your sales pitch that would persuade the voters to select you among all the candidates. Can I have Mr. Yusuf Ali, please?
Thank you very much for your $1 million question. Why should the voter give me the vote number one? Everybody has their own choice, but as a candidate, I want the number one vote because, you know, as you know, I'm a full-time community worker. So I can be available at any time next to any voter. Like my first focus is the family. I will support and advocate anything, grow anything supporting family balance. If we have healthy mom who will grow happy kids, if we have healthy kids, we will have a best life future Australia. Future focus economy and local business, improving service and support for small home-based, medium and large business in Wyndham, as well as I know how to with the community, because before I mentioned my I think that when I grow up, my whole life I try to do something for people. Still, last 16 years in Melbourne, I try to do something for the community, in my own community, and the other community. So I believe if people can give me the vote number one, if I elected as a councillor, I can do my best service in the. So that's why I urge everyone in the Shafi community Shafi, citizen, please give me one vote for Yusuf Ali. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Yusuf. And it's very glad to know that being a family person, you are always available for the community. Well, thanks again. Next question is from Mahmoud Al Bodruduza Palash, who writes to Bangladeshi Broadsheet that we have seen not much Bangladeshis are involved in council events and volunteering. How can you help to increase this involvement? Now, can I request Mr. Mofis to please share his views about this?
Thank you very much for these questions. This is a very usual questions in my mind also. So we're always thinking our unity. I believe the unity is strength. So our strength will be our unity. So we have to be get together. We have to be same thing. We are doing as a community work or whatever we do. We help each other. So by the way, we are the main streaming. We need our people to adjust our own self, our own idea. They bring us to we can bring our own idea to the make together, make it happen. And the decision making, we can do it in combined. So our unity can well come to the together and the side. So this is the equal opportunity. This is the communication opportunity. This is the leadership opportunity. This is the main opinions accepting opportunity. So as I have the confidence like myself, so I can do it properly. My leadership, guidance, and cooperations, and my confidence, I can do it better to bring all together. Say, not our community. I can bring, for example, in the Eid festival, I am the secretary and I did hard work and I make all the community together, one field in president park. I build a school. That is my another confidentially leadership I did. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mofis. Lastly, in this segment, I would like Mr. Mazharul to respond on Mr. Emu Hawk's question. Why you think you are a community leader?
As a long-term resident of Monash and our Bangladeshi community, so I have been providing my services in different capacity for last 30 years. So I understand the needs of our community, Monash community, their issues. So I can be a strong voice in the city council if I am elected.
Now we reach the very last segment of the show, which is open questions to all. Anyone can answer or respond to these questions. In a multicultural Australian society, social opportunities are same for everyone, even for anyone willing to run for office. So when we represent only a small ethnic group, what is your view on a large number of candidates competing for the same seat to contribute to the larger community? Do you think it is time for Bangladeshis to vote against each other rather than campaign for a strong candidate? We have Sunnah Humayun and many others have the same question like Bangladeshi Broadsheet. Who is up here to clarify? Anyone?
Can I go for that?
Yes, please.
It's two views that I'll give you, like from my personal, this is my totally personal views. So please don't take it otherwise. If you feel offended, I'm sorry for that. There is two things, if you think like positively, you can see lots of new community leaders, they're coming and they're showing their footprint into this area. I mean, to council election, which is good. Like we are getting more community leaders. They want to work for the broader community or like greater community, which is really good. This is the positive things. But the negative things is, like, for example, if from our community, if, for example, the 10 candidates from one ward, that's creating competition among us. To me personally, I believe that shouldn't be, because we should have some sort of process that we can finalize on our maximum 2 candidates who has the full fledged of capacity, capability, and experience to to go for the council election and to serve the council and to serve the wider community. So if this has happened, then it's easy to, because then our strength is more stronger for only 1 or 2%. But if it is like 10 candidates, then definitely that strength will be divided, and then it will be very risky for us, and it would be very less chance for us to win the election. So it has like, it has like both sides. Like, one is like, good thing is we are getting more leaders in the community, but the bad thing is we are not creating the opportunity to serve, through the council as a councillor. So that opportunity we are losing. I mean, not losing, that means like opportunity that we minimizing, which is in risky factor for us. So I believe like in future, we should have some sort of process to select the future candidate that will help for the community as well as for the candidate who are serious, who want to do the voluntary work, who want to go for the council, and who can serve better way in the council. That's my answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hassan. Anybody else would like to add anything to this question?
I have a proposal to introduce a project. Those who are candidate as a councillor will make a meeting, and then we make a platform so that in future, who will the best candidate, we have a debate and we teach and training so that new good candidate will come. That is that's why I participate this counseling. I am not here to be a counselor. I am here to give inspiration for the new people and future platform. That's why I participate this council. Thank you.
There is a rumor among community that candidates are exaggerating their years of living in a particular area and or their contribution to the community. Are this really required for a new candidate? Is there anybody would like to answer this?
Thank you, Nasrin. I think yes. I believe living same residence area to contribute to the council or community is really important. It will enhance, it will inspire your working nature to diversity and more work, and you will get the better opportunity to explore yourself. So contribution always a positive side. Any new field, if you have contribution, it will give you full way how can you make more to contribute for the betterment of the society, betterment of the community. And I believe that always a helping, that is helpful to have some confidence and contribution to the society, to the community.
Thanks, Mr. Zahid Mazumdar.
Thank you.
A concern was raised by anonymous person to Bangladeshi Broadsheet from many fans that most of the candidates are now being mentored, directed, or helped by friends or so-called allies. However, if a candidate is really elected with magic, then is the candidate really capable of speaking in the council meeting on his own? If not, then how are we as Bangladeshis will be treated in the mainstream? Who is here to refuse those concerns?
Maybe step in. I really would like to refuse that concern because I would like to talk about myself. I do work at VIC Roads for last like 10 years, 12 years, and while I was working, I had to communicate with external and internal stakeholders. And all the stakeholders were kind of like councils, like authorities, utilities, company, and all the residents as well. And another thing is that my aspect is I am thinking the communication is not only verbal communication. The communication is also in writing and how you interpret the things, how you interpret the documents. So those all other those things, I have the capability to do all those things. So obviously we can compete in the council. And obviously, I think that I am capable to do that. To do the to say, and I'm just saying that when you will be counselor, obviously you need to be vocal to represent your community. You need to do the advocacy. You need to communicate with other people to represent the people's voice, people concern. So obviously, I think that I have that capability. So I really refuse that concern.
It's glad to know your views, Ms. Nusrat. Now we have another question from Mr. Musharraf Hossein Rehan. Urged, if senior citizens or a Bangladeshi organization requests you to compete only one candidate from each ward and claim they will promote you as a Bangladeshi candidate, will you accept that in future?
Thank you, Nasrin, for asking this question. This proposal, if in future citizens take any initiative, will we follow that one or accept? I think it's always a good. If there is a combined effort, combined drive, there is a big achievement. I do respect this one. And I believe this year, due to COVID-19 pandemic, and the election was a little bit uncertain, and we couldn't get enough time or to discuss ourselves. But for the betterment of the community, for achievement, I think if we work together, in future, maybe we have a lot of time and opportunity to discuss among us who will be the qualified candidate for this post, and community can step up for this initiative. I personally will appreciate that initiative, and there will be very good positive outcome. We work together. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Zahid. Viewers, we are glad that in this show now we have with us Associate Professor Sharif S. Saber, School of Management, RMIT University. I request him to kindly say some words regarding this election and our candidates' campaign. Professor Sharif, please.
It's a great opportunity to be with you tonight. I'm so happy to see that we had a long cherished goal of seeing a lot of Bangladeshis participating in local politics, mainstream politics. We have been actually proposing that. We've been campaigning for it for many, many years. Since I came to Australia back in 1991, it's almost 30 years now. That has been our dream, that, okay, when we can see that. And it is like dream comes true moment for us. Thank you all. It's a fantastic thing to see a lot of candidates actually competing against candidates across different councils in Victoria. Throughout Australia, we know that Bangladeshis did actually place candidates in both federal and state elections, but not in Victoria, but in other states. And we know that until now, unfortunately, there is no success in terms of whichever party you do. That is not my concern. Major kind of emphasis is that we should be in the mainstream politics. And here, 12 candidates have actually made all Bangladeshi Australians proud today that you are competing in the local council election. Now, a few things that I would like to highlight here, though, that in terms of the responsibility, I think being a Bangladeshi Australian candidate, our first priority would be to look after our community. It's very important. Because if you don't have the community strength and community support for you as a candidate, you stand nowhere. You must understand that. So the valid question was raised by Nasrin a few minutes ago, that if there are too many candidates from one ward or one place, and they're all Bangladeshis, not helpful, that is not healthy. I'm not saying that they're doing anything wrong, but there should be a process in place. Maybe next time we will try that before any candidate is actually given a date, if there is a community process where we can actually be involved in, because this time we could not become involved because it was too late. And if we can actually do that early, at least a year ago, before the election, then that could be a good process to follow. We will try that next time, and we will try to convince the community we can make it happen. Now, the second thing is definitely we are talking about the second level of multicultural community, ethnic community. We need to be in a very relationship with them, and we need to know what their needs and aspirations are. And finally, the wider community, wider Australia, where we are also a part of it, and we need to think that way as well. So our focus should have three different levels. Our own community, we should look at the multicultural community, and then we look at the broader Australian community. Now, there is a saying, of course, that unity in diversity. Diversity will be there, but we need to work together. We should have one aim, single aim, to do good for the entire community. It doesn't matter whether we are talking about Bangladeshis or any other ethnicity. So that is the one issue. Now, one particular thing I think it is very important to emphasize here, because I don't want to make it too long. You all know that when our kids actually grow up, when they're very little, they don't really understand what is happening. When they actually start growing up, then these days they actually start questioning. With these people, you are not friendly with them. Why? So what is happening within the community? We are all Bangladeshis. We are all Bengalis. But why do you have that kind of relationship? Unfortunately, that is becoming a very bad feature in the community, especially that community is dividing. And that division we must stop. And I think for all the candidates here, this is my request to you, whether you are becoming elected, I hope you all become elected. That is, of course, I'm talking it from my heart. That the first priority would be, can we unite our community? That is a very important thing. If we cannot unite our community, if we cannot actually have one single voice, then we cannot win anything. Whether it is a council election, whether it is a state election or a federal election, anything, we will be in trouble. So let us actually try to do that. All the differences that can we actually still call ourselves as one community working for one cause and support all the community needs? And that is what we need to do. Now, so that our kids, when they grow up, they don't say that, well, they don't see that, okay, you don't mix with those people, you are mixed, and they could be puzzled. Because as kids, they may be friends to the other camps, kids from other camps. So we can't stop that happening. So that is that mention that when we look at the agenda, your election agenda, right? Because of my little experience with elections and things like that, I would like to tell you one thing. You should not have 15, 20, 30 agenda items. Okay, I will do this, do that. You can't do those things. Simple, right? And people know that. Can you actually find at least one or two real agenda which are new to people, new ideas, innovative ideas that will actually impress them? That is very important. Communication is important. It's not everything. I think your work is more important. Through work, you can tell that, okay, I am this, I am that, I have done this, I will be doing that. People will have confidence in you. Sometimes words matter. Sometimes works actually matter. So that is very important, I think, lesson for all of you, I would say. So But again, once again, I must tell, this is an auspicious moment. And Broadsheet has organized it. I must actually thank Mohammad Hassan, Rono, and Nasrin for organizing this fantastic. I think it is a path breaker, and it should be the icebreaker for the community to go ahead and establish ourselves as one of the most important communities within Victoria and in Australia. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Sharif, for your valuable time and valuable views about these elections. Yes, I do agree with your views about unite our community, and one community should work for one cause. And with keeping this view in mind, now we are very close to the end of the show. Dear viewers, we tried to present our own candidates to all of you. If you have any further query, I request you to contact the candidate directly. Finally, Bangladeshi Broadsheet respects that you take steps to come forward to reach out to wider community. We wish the very best to all the candidates.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bangladeshi Broadsheet, and thank you, everyone.
It was a fantastic forum, and we enjoyed everything. Thank you very much.
To thank you, Bangladesh Broadsheet, for organizing such an wonderful event.
Good night with the hope of a good day coming. Stay safe, stay tuned with Bangladeshi Broadsheet.